big fight when Michael Buffer is in town. A very warm welcome to this final press conference. The media tour seems a distant memory now. We're nearly there. A mouth-watering 50-50 clash that has been years in the making. On Saturday night at the sold-out Manchester Arena, IBF Super Bantamweight champion Carl Frampton in this electric unification with the WBA king Scott Quigg. 52 wins, 37 knockouts between them. Live on Sky Sports box office Saturday night. We're live on Sky Sports News now. Let's get down to Andy Burton to ask a few questions.
And thank you, yes, tonight we are live on Sky Sports News HQ, so let's keep our language in check today. Carl, we'll start with you as the man who goes first on the Frampton Quigg billing. It is Frampton Quigg, so we'll start with you. What do you feel, Carl, is going to separate you two as fighters in the ring on Saturday night, and from your point of view, to see you come out victorious?
I just believe I'm a better fighter, and it's plain and simple. In every single department, I just think I'm a little bit better than Scott. No disrespect to him, I believe he's a good fighter. It's something that I've believed for years now, ever since I started calling him out 4.5, maybe 5 years ago, that I'm a better fighter, and I still believe that today.
Same question to you, Scott Quigg. What do you feel will separate you, and why will you be victorious on Saturday night?
Exactly the same answer. That's why I've got a fight like this. So I believe I'm better in every department. Nobody does what I do. You know, the way I've lived from, since I dropped out of school and dedicated my life to the sport. This is it, and from that point, that's why I believe I'm better in every department, and that will show on the night.
Carl, you've talked a little bit about making weight. I think in the build-up to this fight, you acknowledged that many things are better in the build-up to the last fight that you had. Can you talk a little bit about what you've changed, if anything, in the build-up to this one, and is making weight at this level any kind of problem for you?
Well, because of the magnitude of this fight, everything needed to be perfect. I took a serious approach, more serious than any other fight I've taken in the past. I had a check weigh-in with the Board of Control yesterday, and my weight was fine. I just done it right this time, simply because I knew I had to, because it's a big fight. I don't want to lose, and that's the bottom line.
Scott, how has it been for you in terms of getting to the weight? Do you expect to be bigger than Carl on the night when you actually get into the ring, and will that be an advantage if so?
I do the weight. Always, dedicated, disciplined, and this fight will no different. I believe I'll be the bigger man in the ring, but it's not about me being bigger that's going to make me win this fight. It's my ability and my boxing gun that's going to win this fight.
Carl, in the last hour or two, we've heard little sort of rumblings from backstage about potentially discussions over who gets what dressing room, and potentially that being an issue. Can you just tell us what that's all about, please?
It's a bit of a laughing matter on my part anyway. There's a bit of a dispute about the dressing room. Scott wants the dressing room that the star of the show usually was in. Contractually, I'm the A side here. It's Frampton Quigg. I come to the ring second. I'm entitled to that dressing room. He wants it. So we kind of come up with the idea of why not just lock the dressing room and we'll go into different dressing rooms. But I think he's very, very superstitious. He wants to be in that dressing room. It kind of shows a sign of weakness. Superstition is a weakness in my part. I don't care what dressing room I'm in. But just
okay, then that's solved. So
it's a matter of principle, Scott.
It's a matter of principle. Just lock the door.
I'm the home fighter, and I'm in the home dressing room.
You're not the
It's
star.
not a home dressing room.
I'm the home dressing room.
There's nothing contractual about change rooms in the contract.
No, there's not.
He's the home fighter.
So
It's not a home dressing room.
Manchester United playing
He's the
tonight.
home corner. He's the home
Showing a
fighter.
lot of weaknesses, lads, already. I'm telling you.
But thank you for accepting we can have it.
No, you can't.
We haven't accepted anything.
You just said you don't know what.
Look, this is hilarious. I haven't accepted anything. Let's lock the door and we'll go elsewhere.
Gentlemen, let's not descend this into too much of a slanging match. Let's keep it to speed. Scott, do you care which dressing room you're in, and is this weakness from you?
This is my arena. I'm the home fighter, and I'm in the home dressing room. That's it.
It's not the home dressing room. It's the star of the show's dressing room, the A side. That's it. It's my
This is
dressing
the
room.
embarrassing.
But I'm willing to laugh.
Listen, the
It's
star
embarrassing.
couldn't even sell his tickets. That's how much of a star.
That's a load of nonsense, and you know it is.
I sold my tickets.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what? Tell you something. I actually bought tickets off Scott.
Yeah.
I bought 10 £200 tickets off you from my mates.
How could we sell your own?
I did sell my own.
How could you be in any battle arena?
There's undercard
Oh,
players.
there you go.
Yeah.
Scott, both sides had a
Spice boy, calm down and no one's talking to you.
Listen, we need to bring the trainers in.
Alright,
We need to bring the trainers in because the fans who are watching on Sky Sports really want to hear from them. Joe, if we can start with you. You said in an interview this week that Shane McGUIGAN is only famous because of his dad. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Well, it says what you just answered your own question.
Can you explain that for people who haven't seen the
Well,
comments?
listen, Shane McGuigan, it's well noted. There's a piece in the Mail today. He was a nutritionist. Asked could he start going in the corner with Carl Frampton and Jerry Storer. Next thing we see, Jerry Storer's out and Shane's in. And like you say, Shane's in the corner of Carl Frampton Saturday night. And they made loads of things. And I heard Carl say about being most popular. If Scott Quigg was to walk all over the country with Ricky Hatton beside him, he'd be very popular as well.
In response to you from the comments from Joe that you're only famous because of your dad?
I am.
And he does just say,
No, I respect Joe as a trainer. He clearly doesn't respect me, but hopefully after the fight he'll have some respect for me.
you said, Shane, in the build-up that your dad has been a little bit disrespected and his achievements, Barry's achievements in the ring have been disrespected by Joe. Can you explain that one, please?
No, but he said that the last time Dad was in Manchester that he was beaten and Carl's going to come out the same. That's his opinion, that's fine.
Joe, in terms of the fight, what weaknesses do you see in Carl Frampton that Scott Quigg can exploit in the arena on Saturday?
I feel they've underestimated Scott's boxing ability, his boxing brain, and they're trying to make him a laughing stock, being hugely disrespectful. I noticed the last time they were in Manchester, they were very pleasant to everyone in Manchester. Got to Belfast, they got brave and started disrespecting Scott by putting pieces of paper over and that. I think the people in Manchester weren't happy about that, and they don't know what's going to hit them in that arena come Saturday night.
Shane, same question to you about Scott Quigg. Do you see weaknesses in his game that Carl can exploit on Saturday?
I think you've got two world-class fighters that are legitimate, world champions, and they're going in, and they, when you get to that top level, there's 2 or 3% in it, and I think Carl's got that extra 2%.
It's brilliant, Eddie. Eddie, can you talk about the magnitude of this as an occasion? It's very rare in British boxing that we have fights where you have 2 world champions going head-to-head in unification fights. I think it's only happened twice in the last 23 years. I don't think it's ever happened with undefeated fighters. For everybody watching today who wonders why all their friends and everyone up and down the country is talking about this fight, just put it into context for us.
Well, I think this is special. This is a special event. People ask me if this was bigger than Frotch against Groves too. And I said, yes, it was. Because on a global scale, I believe it is. I think it's with more broadcasters. Of course, we have to thank our partners in America, Showtime Sports, who are transmitting the fight live. And I think this is a special event. As I look down the table and see Scott Quigg and Carl Frampton and the 2 pieces of fine jewellery that sit in front of them, it makes me proud, and I think everybody on this table proud of the job we've done, despite the banter and despite the rivalry, that we managed to make this fight happen. I said before that I really feel it's fights like this that can ignite the sport, that can keep the sport alive. And if we don't make fights like this, you'll see the sport die. And on Saturday night, I think one thing that's been underplayed particularly is the atmosphere that we generated in this arena. We've seen some great atmospheres. Carl Frotch against Lucien Butte was for me one of the special nights. Ricky Hatton against Costa Tszyu in the same arena. I think this eclipses all of it. Huge passion and everything on the line, and that is what elite level sport is all about. Both fighters desperate to win, both good blokes, both tremendous fighters. Unification for the IBF and the WBA title, it doesn't get any bigger.
Barry McGuigan, Carl's manager, whilst there may be differences on both sides, do you in some ways echo what Eddie just said about the magnitude of this as an occasion?
Well, she's absolutely spot on. It's a huge fight. There's never been a fight of this magnitude with super bantamweights in Europe.
I think, you know, it's very difficult, and it's always difficult to compare to the great Mexican fighters, the American fighters, but it's definitely got the you know, it's got this sort of Morales Barrera look to it. They have to prove yet, both of them, that they can fight as good as those great fighters, but it has those sort of echoes. So it's a magnificent occasion. You know, there's a 50-50 split on who thinks they're going to win the fight. But it's a fabulous occasion. It's been building and building.
We've probably got about a minute left on Sky Sports News. I'd like to end on the fighters, because it's all about you two guys on Saturday night when we get into the ring. Carl, for you, first of all, a final message to Scott Quigg in terms of what you want to say to him before the fight.
I don't really want to say anything to him, if I'm being honest. I don't know what to say.
To the people watching and what's
Well, okay, the people watching, tune in. It's going to be a great fight, one for the ages. One I fully believe and I'm going to win. That's it. Make sure you're watching. It's going to be good.
Scott, a final message from you to both Carl and to the fans watching at home.
Yes, so everybody tune in. It's going to be a great fight, and it's one that I'm 100% confident training is going absolutely perfect, and I'm going to prove I'm the best super bantamweight.
Guys, thank you very much. That's the end of our broadcast on Sky Sports News HQ. Best of luck, and good luck with the dressing room.
Thanks, Andy. Fantastic to see two winners up here, two unbeaten champions. Someone who hasn't said a few words. Let's start with Blaine McGUIGAN down the far end, promoter from your team. How pleased are you that this fight has been put together, and how pleased are you with the build-up to it with just 48 hours or so to go?
I'm delighted. I mean, it's the biggest fight that was out there. I think Scott would agree with that. Scott seems a little bit rankled by me, I don't know why. Tapping away. Got a question for Scott though. You've been going on about Carl's weight for the last couple of weeks, right? What's it going to be like making £10, you know, from the weight that you weigh on the weigh-in on the morning of the fight? What's that going to be like? Because you've never done it. I know Carl's done it 7 times. So we've talked about weight before. What are you going to say to that?
You've got a pair of traps on you, haven't you?
I just want to know.
Is it relevant?
But you've never done it, Scott. Is it a new experience?
Is that what you're banking on?
No, I'm just interested.
What are you doing up here?
I'm the promoter.
Ask you questions like
I'm the promoter. And you can take it away as well. Yeah, I'm delighted about the fight. I'm really delighted.
Shane, how important is it to you? You built up a really good stable down in London. We saw earlier the likes of Conrad Cummings, Josh Taylor, really good kids on the card. Real talent coming out of your gym, obviously. David Hay, George Groves as well. How do you feel it's been for you as a young trainer coming through, and how much of a part do you think you'll play on Saturday night as the battle, edges through?
Yes, at the end of the day, you're only as good as your fighters, and I'm lucky to have a fighter like Carl Frampton to showcase himself as a fighter and myself as a coach. And with the guys like David and George in the gym, they've brought a new level for Carl to the game, and he's sort of looking at what they do, and it's just nice to see what other people do and how they prepare themselves. And obviously the likes of Conrad Cummings and Josh Taylor and Josh Britton stuff all coming through, bouncing off each other and just pushing each other in the day, every day in the gym. And it's just he's flying, and it's brought to another level.
And I know you're particularly close to Carl. You live together. You're good mates as well. Have you ever seen him in better physical and mental condition going into any fight?
No, definitely not. He's in the best shape of his life. He's mentally very assured of himself as well. But he has to be. Scott Quigg is. He justifies that. He justifies the best Carl Frampton, and that's why it's going to be the best him on the night.
Shane, you said that you have plenty of respect for Joe Gallagher. Does that go two ways, Joe? What do you think of Shane's development as a trainer, really, when you look at him?
First of all, thanks everyone for coming to Manchester. Before I answer your question, Adam, there's just a few people I'd like to thank that's helped Scott Quigg on his journey here to where he headlines this Saturday night at the arena. First of all, Brian Hughes, Pat Barrett, all the boys up there at Colliers and Boston. I'd like to thank the promoters in the past, Wally Dixon, Ricky Hatton, and of course Eddie Hearn and Sky for getting behind Scott Quigg. Without them, Scott Quigg wouldn't be here where he's sat here today. In answer to your question, Adam, listen, Shane McGUIGAN, it's well noted what I've said. Everything else, you're only as good as the kids you got. I've seen him behind the gloves. He said he's been training him for 6 years, but I remember at the press conference when he turned pro, Carl, Jerry Story was the main trainer. So it's a bit cringe. He's done well in the 2 years that he's with him, but don't be trying to take someone else's plaudits away for the work that they did with him. Just let me finish. No, let me finish. You're not in control. You're not in Belfast. You're in Manchester. Okay, I'm going to speak. Okay. Also on top of that, Shane, obviously David Hay, George Groves, they've joined in, and like I say, that you can't judge Shane McGuigan yet. It's well noted. I've been coaching since the age of 23, 24 as an amateur and pro, and there's a lot made about Shane, but you just got to look at the stable of fighters that I have at the moment. You've got the 4 Smith brothers, all won 4 British titles. Anthony Crolla, world champion. Liam Smith, world champion. Jose Burton, from the age of 11, extra junior schoolboy, is now fighting the British light heavyweight title. So that's it. Shane, like I say, that's not for me to answer. Is he a good coach? That's for the boxing people, the boxing experts out there to say that. In the same way, the question was never asked to any other coaches regards me on the way through. It's them to answer that question, not me.
But Joe, do you respect the other corner going into the biggest fight of your life for Scott Quigg?
Well, listen, I respect anyone that puts the time and effort into developing fighters. It's a very...
the question.
I am answering it, Barry. Let's not turn into the Barry show. You'll have your turn in a minute. What I'm saying to you is I respect all trainers that put the time and effort in developing children from grassroots level to professionals, because trainers put more in than fighters do. Like Shane now, he has 5, 6 fighters. That means more time away from the family and everything else. So on that side, as a boxing coach, yes, I respect him.
Thanks.
Thank you. Long way to answer the question, but nonetheless, thank you.
Thank yous from that side, that's good. Eddie, it's a massive fight at the start of another massive year for British boxing. How important is it that it is a classic on Saturday night? And deep down, you think it will be?
Yeah, I can't see anything other than a great fight. You can't, I don't think you can ever sit there and know for sure how a fight's going to play out. But when you've got 2 fighters as talented as Scott and Carl, and so much on the line, so much passion from teams, from fans, then generally you get something very, very special. And I think that's what we're going to get on Saturday night. I think I want to thank you, and I want to thank Barney Francis at Sky Sports, because without their investment in boxing, fights like these would never get made. And I know it's boring sometimes to talk about money, but it's our jobs as promoters to make sure these guys leave the sport as wealthy as possible. And there has never been, and there will never be, 2 paydays like this from the super bantamweight division. And one of the most pleasing things as a promoter in this fight is that 2 smaller men get the opportunity to see the limelight and the money of this magnitude. And I think that shows how good they are. That shows you what kind of place British boxing is in, that we can produce these fights and these numbers that can blow the minds of our friends in America, who, when they realise how much these guys are making, everyone realises that this is actually the place to be, rather than people supposedly thinking they need to crack it in America. So it's great for British boxing, and I'm glad we're nearly there.
The super bantamweights often give us high.
In every department, and of course, I'm not going to be too happy with that, but I think he'll be too good for him. But you never know, it might be. You look at the likes of Wilfredo Gomez, Junior Jones, phenomenal super bantamweights, and these 2 guys have to prove that they're as good as that. You can't put them in the same rank as them just yet, but there is a potential there, and there is a potential to be a great fight. I hope it's a great fight for the viewers.
And then you mentioned the little guys. I mean, you were a featherweight, of course. Nassim Hamid was a wonderful entertainer and a fabulous puncher. We had such a ride with him. The glamorous heavyweights are always talked about, but is it terrific that the spotlight is on these guys, the A-Stone
You look back to the likes of, I mentioned Wilfredo Gomez, Salvador Sanchez, Azuma Nelson, Nassim Hamid coming through the ranks, Wilfredo Gomez, and Wilfredo Vasquez. There's so many great Latino fighters and American fighters in the featherweight division that were just sparkling to watch, and you just couldn't take your eyes off.
And they need a dance partner as well, don't they?
They all do.
Two to tango.
That's the thing. It's for example, Ben had Eubank, and Ben and Eubank had Collins. So it's great to have somebody in your sort of locale that you want to fight that can generate this sort of interest. It's phenomenal.
So Carl, we've got you and Scott. What are you going to give us on Saturday night? And how much deep down does it mean to you personally to get this right?
Not mean so much. Obviously, there's a lot at stake. It's more than world titles. There's a lot of pride, bragging rights. He's got things to be a better fighter than me. I think I'm a better fighter than him. It's just about proving it on the night. There's so much involved in the night. Reputation is a big thing. It's a big deal. It has everything in this fight, but I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to win. However that comes about, I believe I have the punching power to knock him out in any round, but I've also got the boxing brain to beat him comfortably on points. But whatever it takes, I'm going to do to win.
Is it a case of waking up on Sunday morning, you just cannot have afforded to lose this fight?
Yeah, I don't want to lose. I put so much into it. I've spent 17 weeks in training camp, the longest training camp I've ever had. Because of the magnitude of this fight, and because I know it could be a difficult fight. I've been away from the family. I've missed my son taking his first steps. I've missed my son and my daughter's my son's birthday, my daughter's birthday also. I've missed so much here. There's absolutely no way I'm going to let this guy make that worth enough. It's meant something to me to miss it. I didn't want to do it, but I've been away training because of this. I'm not going to let this guy rip this away from me. This is my life.
Thank you too for the great access that you've given us, Scott. We were with your family this week, and thank you for that. Just a few days ago, terrific access we get from these wonderful fighters. I'll ask you the same thing. How much deep down, it's been such a long road. We know the story. You left school. You knew what you wanted to do, and you're here now. You've got the opportunity. You've got the stage. You've got what you asked for. How do you deliver? Can you deliver? And what will it mean to you, deep down, to get your hand raised at the end?
Me and everything. It's everything I've ever, since the age of 15. All I've done is train, eat, sleep, train. My family have lived their lives around me. They do what I ask them to do. They make things easier. First and foremost, I do it for myself because I know the hours I've put in, what I've done over the years, and this means absolutely everything. This is my moment of destiny, and believe me, I will win this fight. I've gone and put in too much for anybody to stop me. So in my mind, there's nothing that can stop me. And on Saturday night, it's going to be the moment where everybody who knows me, the family, everyone who's been close to me, see now what I've done, how much I've worked, everything I've put into it. They'll see me realise my destiny, and I'll win that fight.
And again, when the crowd disperses and it's midnight on Saturday night and it's all done, you can't not afford to have these titles, to have this unbeaten record still.
No.
You cannot contemplate losing.
No, it doesn't even enter my mind. There's no room for error at this level. 1% can make a difference. That's why you've got to be fully focused. I'll turn up on that night. Everything's the same. I'm staying in my own bed the night before. I'll make the same trip to the arena. I'll make the same walk from the dressing room to the ring. And I'll make the same performance. And it'll be a win. You did before, except you didn't go to what dressing you was in, so you really showed that. So let's not embarrass yourself.
It's just a sign of weakness. If you back yourself...
What are you bothered for then? What are you bothered for? Are you scared of me having my dressing room?
I'm not afraid of
No, right then, you're just going to be having my dressing room.
Listen, let me
Oh, well, there you go.
If you back yourself so much, what does it matter what dressing room you're in?
What makes you think you're coming to my arena and choosing what dressing room? No, it's my arena.
Not your arena.
I'm the home fighter. You want it to be on the left side of the poster. You want it to be coming out second. You want to be announced second. All your little demands.
Just lock it up. Lock it
No,
up.
I'm having that dressing room, that's it.
It's embarrassing. Weakness, man.
Yeah,
A lot of weaknesses.
hey, there's no problem. If you want to think it's weakness, you think it's weakness.
I know it's weakness.
Yeah. You're swearing me having my own dressing room.
I don't care.
No, there you go again. He doesn't care. So,
This is principle here. This is principle, that's
I
all
forgot
it
you're
is.
the A side.
I am. See, left side, that's me, not you.
I saw because you were crying.
I didn't. Listen, I'm coming to Manchester.
You have to come to Manchester.
I don't have to come to Manchester. I didn't have to take this fight. I have loads of options. You only have
What options did you have?
I have loads of options.
What?
I can sell out arenas. Here's a
You
fact.
was handing tickets
That's
back
what
this
it
week.
is.
So you, Scott.
Here's a fact.
Blaine,
for you.
go and sit over there. You shouldn't even be up here.
That's the truth. It's the truth, though, isn't it? We know
Yeah,
that
you
you
already
know.
called because I haven't called you.
Here's a fact. I've topped more bills for a match room than you have. That's just a little fact.
And you still can't sell your ticket allocation.
Listen, mate.
No, you can't.
On the name.
You wanted 3 American officials. You didn't want a British referee. Why didn't you want a British referee?
Because you're trying to make this to be.
No. Why didn't you want a British referee?
You
3
asked me a
Americans
question.
because you're now haven for
You asked me a
So you've got
question.
what you wanted.
You
Why
asked
didn't you
me
want a British
question,
fighter?
I'm about to answer it, and you
Go on.
repeat the question again.
Go on.
Because you're trying to make us out to be Britain versus Ireland.
No, we're not. That's yours.
Yes,
man.
it's ours.
No, it's not. No, it's
Yes,
not.
it's ours,
No,
though.
it's not. You're British. It's 2 Brits and 2 American officials we wanted. You wanted the 3 American officials. Why didn't you want a British referee?
No, I did it. I
We
wanted
need to be neutral. That's it.
because we want it to be neutral down the line. Nobody gets tainted, nobody gets embarrassed. It's dead straight down the middle. The best way of doing that is to have neutral officials.
Everything's
Simple
fair. That's all. That's all we
as
want.
that. Simple as that.
But Joe, if you wanted it, why did you sign the contract? You signed a contract that said it was going to be American referee.
Shane.
Is that
Just
not
like-
It's plain actually.
Listen, Shane, you got all the demands to have to fight. You had nowhere else to go. You wanted the biggest ring. You want the 3 American officials. You're an Al Heyman fighter. And no, you're the fighter is.
You're not a fighter either, Joe.
Pardon?
You're not a fighter either, mate.
No?
You're a fighter when you fucking play bag, mate. That's what you could do.
Oh, Shane, behave yourself, will you? Jesus Christ. What do you, listen, my amateur experience as much as what yours is.
You know what's happening here?
So,
They tried to wind us up, and they're the ones being wound up. Look how you're reacting. This is brilliant. This is just falling into our hands. See all this stuff
Who's
that's
the
wrong
one
with
that threatened
teams
not
today?
to turn up at the press conference over changing rooms? Who's getting
I'm
wound
just
up there?
laughing. I'm just laughing at this. This is
Well,
hilarious.
listen, you've got no back of juice. There's no back of juice in Manchester, anyway. You've got it all up with small.
Relax yourself down, mate. Calm down.
Alright.
Jeff, can I ask a question? How does this dressing room thing get resolved?
None of
It's just been resolved.
Nobody goes in it. That's the only way it's going to be resolved.
Yeah.
Nobody goes in it. That's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
No, it's not simple as that. It's as simple as that's the dressing room I'm in.
You're
That's
not
it.
having any dressing.
Fin bar,
You're not doing.
quiet.
You're not. You keep quiet. Don't call me.
What?
Be careful.
Don't be so disrespectful, mate.
What do you mean disrespectful?
I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just
People
telling you.
pull shit over
I'm just
the-
telling you that if it's not going to be resolved, there is nobody using that dressing room. Simple as that.
It's not a barber shop.
Simple as that.
Barry, Eddie, it's got to be resolved. This fight's going to happen.
Yeah.
How is it going to be resolved? That was Andy's question.
Nobody's going in. Simple as that.
Eddie?
I've lost the will to live.
It will be resolved.
Yeah, of course it will, because, listen, we had to move on so many different things to make this fight. And it was always a matter of principle. And Scott Quigg had to move from places he didn't want to move from. We all did. And, you know, I told Scott, the fact is that Carl's got an employee list bigger than Tesco's. So the time he's paid Cyclone, Barry McGuigan his manager, Shane McGuigan his trainer,
Unprofessional.
and our agent.
It's actually slanderous, Eddie, so just, stop lying.
Listen, what do you know about slander? You're a little boy. Listen.
I'm a little boy.
Yeah, listen. You ain't got a clue what you're talking about. Let me finish. Right. So, when all is said and done,
A little bit more disrespect, please.
Keep
Keep
still
going.
talking. Scott Quigg's purse will be considerably higher, and that's what I told him. That's why we have to take this fight. If this is the fight you want, if this is the fight that means so much to you, if this is the fight that breaks you out into another world in world boxing, we have to accept. So we bent over backwards. We let you go first on the poster. We let you ring walk second. We let you have all the little things that you cared about. But we are in the home corner, and we are a home fighter in Manchester. And when, or if, we decide to give you the rematch, you can have your own changing room in Belfast. It's not a problem. I'm sure it will be resolved. I'm sure it will drag on. It will be childish. It will be pathetic. And it will be another situation where everyone will lose their rag, except for me. And then we'll find a resolution. Thank you.
Let's leave the final word with the fighters. First of all, Carl, what happened Saturday night in Manchester? Prediction, please.
I win.
How?
It doesn't matter. Whatever it takes. It could be by knockout. It could be a clear points win. But all I'll predict is a win.
Same to you, Scott. Saturday night, how does it unfold?
I win by knockout.
By knockout.
By knockout.
On that note, thank you very much, guys. The fighters will pose for head-to-heads. Bring it on. Saturday night.